Want convenient banking features like mobile check deposit? Whitney Bank's mobile app has you covered. Start by opening your checking account online at HancockWhitney.com. Then download the app to bank anytime, anywhere. Member FDIC.
Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. Additional support comes from Wyndham Garden Lafayette.
From Cafe Vermilionville in Lafayette, we're out to lunch with Professor of Finance and Director of the award-winning Burkenroad Reports, Peter Raschuti. It's business, Acadiana style.
Hi, I'm Peter Raschuti. Welcome to Out to Lunch, Acadiana. To the rest of the United States, the symbol of Louisiana is the alligator. Gators slither across T-shirts, baseball caps, and posters in every souvenir shop in the state. You can find cute critters doing everything from smoking a cigarette, leaning up a gas lamp post in New Orleans French Quarter, or playing the accordion in a pirogue in the shade of a cypress tree in a sleepy bayou. Here in Acadiana, the alligator is far from a cuddly toy with a cute toothy grin. It's a crop, an industry, and in some communities, a danger to life and limb. If you find a gator on your front lawn, depending on where you live, the law might let you take care of it yourself. If it doesn't, and you have a lick of sense, you probably call on a professional to get rid of that gator, like Ronnie Guy. Ronnie has been a nuisance alligator hunter for the state of Louisiana for 12 years. He's a member of the Louisiana Alligator Advisory Council and serves on the board of directors for the Louisiana Trapping and Alligator Hunting Association. Ronnie, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thank you. Welcome. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you. If you prefer your alligator in a different form, perhaps in the shape of a bell, purse, or wallet, you can purchase all these products and more from Lafayette's Mark Staton Company. The company started out in 1992 as simply Mark Staton. Today, a dozen employees design, manufacture, and retail alligator skin products to individual customers and retail stores across the country. The owner of Mark Staton Company is still Mark Staton. Mark, welcome down to lunch.
Hello.
I'm glad to have both of you guys here. This is, I've got questions of my own I need to answer. Now, Ronnie, one of the things people often report as liking best about their job is variety. I would imagine you get plenty of that. Though, to be honest, I really can't imagine what a day in the life of a Louisiana State alligator hunter looks like. Are you on patrol looking for gators? Are you sitting at a desk waiting for the phone to ring? Walk us through a typical gator hunting day, if there is such a thing.
We can go back to just yesterday.
Okay.
That'd be close enough. We had a call yesterday to go to a hole in the near the edge of the Red River where there was a large alligator near a pump site. So a farmer had a large pump in the water, and he sends help down there all during the day to refuel or do whatever. And so the gator was there and was there last year, and I was unable to make contact with him last year. So this just yesterday we were down there, got a call to go, and so we went to the location, and there was he ended up being 10'9". We can cut that short, but we went there, and he was laying across from the pump, almost directly across from the pump, along with two other alligators. So there were three actually there. One was off of his property, and one was on his property, and the second one didn't get taken yesterday. So we went yesterday and harvested the alligator, and my wife was with me yesterday. She went along to help, and so. But it's a pretty good a pretty good project, to go and harvest something that big by yourself across a body of water. You're talking about launching a boat, dragging him across, winching him up in the truck, because you can't pick that up. Everybody thinks you can grab them and throw them in the back of the truck, and you can't handle 10-foot alligator. You just can't.
Now,
it's too big.
This guy had workers that had to keep going to that pump, and they were probably getting a little apprehensive.
Oh, yeah, they go down there, and of course, you have a lot of people that are just scared to death of them. So if they go down and see an alligator, all of a sudden he's a threat because he's there and I'm there. So he's got to service the pump, but they don't want to do that.
But how do you get them? I mean, Do you shoot them and drag them back, or?
That one was a shot now, but sometimes we set a hook and a line and catch them just conventional like you'd see on television. You know, just set a hook and a line.
There is a guy like you on TV, right?
There's several.
Really?
Several.
But are they doing it right? You have your own show.
There are a few things that are accurate.
Okay.
There's a lot of embellishment going on. There's a lot of theatrics that go along with that that's not necessary.
Made for TV.
Yeah, I bet that would be
it's
true.
Just not. I mean, all that thrashing up and down the side of the boat and all that's not necessary. It's just not.
Now, Mark, now we get an idea where these gators come from. When I buy a leather wallet, the supplier of the hide, the designer, the manufacturer, and the retailer are often not just different companies, but they're from different countries. That's not how it is with alligator skin products, especially those from Mark Staton Company. You describe your relationship with the products, and I love this, from the swamp to the showroom. How does a wallet at your company start out? Do you meet it as early as when the alligator is still alive? Or?
No, but we maybe would buy the alligator skin that Ronnie harvested.
Okay.
He brings it to us. We would put them in lots of 50, 100, 200, 300 skins, and we send them to a tannery to have them tanned. And at the tannery, they're turned into leather. That's what tanning means. And they're dyed in various colors. Then they come back to us. So when we get the skin back from the tannery, it's a tan, dyed, finished skin. And then we're able to then look at the skin, decide what we want to do with them, whether it'll be a wallet or a belt, or whether we sell it to another manufacturer, for example.
And now with these, what does an alligator skin go for? Like when you have an alligator, what do you get per foot for it? I know it varies per year, but
well, it does vary per year, and the price that is paid to the trappers, such as Ronnie, would vary according to market prices, and that is set by the big tanneries, most of them overseas.
Is it like $10, $100?
Well, it could vary according to size also, but it might be not $100, Ronnie. No.
It could be 10.
I don't want you negotiating.
It could be
at
as
the
low
table.
as $5 a foot. It could be as high as $60 a foot.
Oh, okay.
It'll depend on the size, on the quality, that sort of thing.
And is a younger alligator better or a big old alligator better?
Well,
make him define better.
Oh yeah,
What
better.
is better?
Well, better for turning them into a belt, for instance.
Well, what I was going to say was that it depends exactly what you're going to do with the skin. For example, if you're making a large product, then a large skin is better. If you're making a small product, such as a watch band, for example, then you don't want to use a big skin that might have large scales on it, because you want to see the pattern of the alligator in the leather. And the bigger the alligator, the bigger the pattern. So there needs to be a matching of the size of the skin with the product that's being made.
Now we got the front end where you buy the skin from a guy like Ronnie. Then you turn it into the product. Where do you retail it? Is it something like online, or do you have retailers that routinely buy your products?
We do. We have retailers. We also have designers who we manufacture for, and then they sell it all over the country.
So they might have an idea, especially what they want this to look like.
That's right. They'll come in with their own personal, proprietary design, and we'll build it for them out of the alligator skin, and then they sell it to their customers. Oh, we do have a little retail shop also where we sell prototypes, but also just overruns, a lot of different products there.
And Ronnie, I have to ask you, have you ever been bit?
Last year, first time.
No way.
Last year was my first time, and so in 13 years, last year was my 12th year, my first time.
You have both arms and legs.
Yeah,
I know it's radio, but I wanted to point that out.
It was a bit. I crossed two fingers on my left hand, but still, the alligator was 5 foot 6 inches long, so he wasn't huge, but nevertheless, don't be mistaken that you can open his mouth without tools. I mean, you can't. You just can't. Even I had help there. My brother was with me, and he and I both couldn't get it open, so we had a little multi-tool plier that we actually wedged in there and got his mouth open. So it was intense.
So that's kind of a myth. People always say all the power is on when they close their mouth, but they're pretty good at keeping it closed.
Yeah, you can't open it. No, I can assure you can't open it. You can keep it closed easy.
Right.
So that was my intent, it was this particular alligator was on a school property.
Oh, boy.
And so that was during school day. So you can't just whip out your gun with children running all around everywhere, because moms and dads, they get home and tell mom and dad.
Oh,
and
right.
Pretty soon it's all everywhere. So
God, that would be the best day ever, where they canceled class to everybody watch the Alligator Man.
And so it was it was in one of their sewage ponds in back, so it was pretty bad. Anyway, and the alligator's mouth is pretty bad. So the bite, of course, the bite really, with existing health issues that I have already, and then you have the sewer pond and the alligator bite.
Right, you get a lot of
It's
bad
a lot of things going on there. So when you go to the walk-in clinic, I think it took them about 20 minutes to realize what are we going to treat this guy with? We've never seen alligator bite before.
Give him everything we got.
Harry, this isn't a dog bite.
Yeah.
This is anything else.
And it's not. It's completely different than a dog bite. It's different than a cat bite. It's different than a human bite.
Now, you are buying from hunters, but is there another way to go about it? Sometimes I hear about companies raising alligators.
Yeah, there are a good number of farms in Louisiana, and I do buy occasionally from the farms. I think the last number I saw is there might be 60 farms or something like that in Louisiana, maybe 65. And they produce a lot of animals. Most of them are contracted to large buyers overseas before they ever raise the animal.
When you were talking about the skin, how different skins are better for different size products, what are the skills in once you get back from the tannery? What do you have in your shop that enables you to do this?
Well, we have a good number of skins, and then we have to decide what to do with it. In our business, we either make money or lose money when we decide to cut the skin. So you have to know what you're going to do. You have to have a plan. And I have, of course, been involved myself with it, but I have other people who are really good at looking into skin and deciding this is the best thing to do with it. And it might be, maybe we're going to make purses, or maybe it'll go into a briefcase, or maybe it'll be, if it's got a lot of defects, but we can cut around them, it might be belt material, or we sell to boot manufacturers and we do shoes. So we look at a skin and we decide what's the best combination of products that the skin will yield. And that's how we manage to make money. That's correct. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Everything else after that can be perfect, but if we don't make that decision right, then we might lose money on it.
And of course, it's very seasonal. It's just the first 3 weeks of September?
30 days.
30 days.
30 days.
Except for you.
Yeah, it's a little different for me.
Yes, when you're the nuisance guy. By the way, you're not the nuisance. The alligators are the nuisance.
As soon as the weather warms up, the phone starts ringing. And the warmer, the more it rings. And now it's starting the breeding time. So now the males are starting to really move around and really show their stuff. So and they end up
How do they show their stuff, by the way?
They end up being places they're not supposed to be. Oh, he'll reach his back up in the water and shake the water, and
that's a nightclub for him.
You hear him bellow?
He'll crowd.
Bellow, that's right.
And he'll crowd you in a boat if he's really big and you're in a boat, small boat, and people think, any other time of the year he'll flee, they'll go away, but a big male in this time of year, you got to give him some ground. He won't budge. If he's got a female there close,
does he recognize you as like, there's Ronnie, he killed my cousin?
I think sometimes when I pull up on a job and the guy said, the gator's been here every day for 3 days. Today you drive up, he's not here. So I just tell them, man, they just fear me. They see my truck and they just fear me. So it's kind of a joke.
But Ronnie,
so we park up the hill and walk down there.
Oh, there, I guess the truck that scares
it's
them.
a truck.
Now, Ronnie, what about the other side? You get this skin, and you can call Mark and such. What about the meat itself? Where does it go?
All right, so I'm not a licensed processor, and probably will not be for a number of reasons. But I give all the meat away. I have friends and family, and trust me, you got more friends than you know when it's alligator season. You do. I butcher off the meat and put it in an ice chest and make a few phone calls. Sometimes they call me. It doesn't stay around long. It's gone quick.
The meat is an important part of the industry because There have been years when the price of alligators has been dictated as much by the meat as by the skin.
Right.
In other words, there have been years when I've had to buy at a certain price, but it was really higher than the leather market would dictate. Yeah. But the meat was in such demand that the whole alligators, brought more money.
Well, this is like a year-to-year kind of...
Yeah, it is.
So he doesn't buy a whole alligator.
I don't see that's I don't buy the whole alligator.
That's a different.
I buy
deal.
the skins, and
So
that's
in September, everybody's selling whole alligators. Nobody's skinning alligators. But right now, nuisance hunters, we don't have an option, at least not where I'm from. Well, maybe down south they may, but not where I'm from. So I have to skin everything. I mean, everything gets skinned every day or two. You're skinning alligators.
I think that would be a bad response. It's out of season. I can come back and help you in September. That would be the... Ronnie, what part of your job gives you the most satisfaction? I just love thinking of your job, but what part gives it?
I got the coolest job ever. I'm telling you, I did construction work all my life, and I was always in somebody's house, taking their money, tearing their house up. And so every day they're excited for you to get there, but you're there 2 days and they're ready for you to go, and you may be there a month. So for the next 28 days, they don't want you there, and they're having to pay you every couple of weeks. And it's different now because. Now it's the best because everywhere you go, people are pleading you for you to please come and remove this alligator, and you meet the most interesting people every day, and I'm telling you, none of them are mad at you. They don't hate you. They don't have to pay you. And no pay. There's no pay. So they don't owe you anything. At the end of all of this, you get to go see him, and it's almost like a day trip for me to come to Lafayette and go to Mark's and sail, and we shop a little bit, and we stay down there we're at his shop for hours when we sail, and it's neat to walk around in his shop and watch his people work, and it's interesting when he was talking about who makes the decision on what to do. It's like a machine when you walk in there. There's a huge common table, but there's all these little stations around, and it's all busy. It's not moving like lightning. Yeah. But it's all busy. It's all moving. Everybody's doing something. I just walk around and watch them. It's fascinating. So all the people that I meet during the day, it's really neat. And then you, at the end of it, this is the end. And then when you get all sold and everything's gone, you get to start the process all over again. See, it's pretty neat.
He describes it better than I do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
One question is, when you do get that gator, is he your gator?
He's mine. When I get a complaint number,
you have to bring him to the Capitol.
When I get a complaint number and I get the paperwork signed, then he's mine at that point. And what I do with him is my business. And so the state doesn't pay for this process. The only money I get would be from the sale of the skin. So I don't get a paycheck from the state.
Wow.
None. I have to get a skin. I have to get an alligator to get a check.
So you're like on commission.
It's not a contract. It's called an appointment. So I mean,
wow.
At any time we have to renew every year. So it's not like you're on for life. There are terms that you have to, and you have to answer your calls. You can't pick and choose. You must go on them all. So if
this one's too big,
if he's 2 foot, no, well, too small is a problem. You get 2 or 3 foot. It has no value.
Oh, yeah.
So now you've driven 60 miles and you collect a 3-foot alligator, and the people are just as happy to see you, but you just drive right away. Same thing. And your gas gauge goes, shoom.
And it's a very regulated business, right? I mean, to get a tag, you need, I don't know, what is it, like 70 acres of land, of swamp or something?
Well, to get a tag, I'm not sure what that number is. It probably varies according to the habitat type. But, yeah, that's determined by wildlife and fisheries. Mm-hmm. And it is a very regulated business. And that tag goes on the skin, really, when you kill the animal out in the marsh, generally. And then it stays on that skin all the way through the skinning, tanning process while it's on my shelf. And then when you decide to cut it, then you can remove the skin.
How do you skin an alligator?
The very sharp knives, and this time it takes about an hour for me to skin about 7 foot.
Big knife, little knife,
small, 3 and 3.5 inch blades, small. Very sharp, though.
But Ronnie's very skilled. Everything about an alligator is tough. And if you're not careful, you can mess up real quick.
And it would be really easy to mess up its commercial value, right?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, when you cut a hole in it, in what we call the vamp,
Yep.
the part that he's looking at real close. When you cut a hole in it, he doesn't like that. I mean, no buyers like that.
Well,
At all. I mean,
yeah.
it's just-
Well, for example, going back to the farms, I mean, they have skinners that are there constantly skinning, and they're hoping to get prime value for that skin. And if they punch one little hole in it, they'll lose 25% of the value.
Whoa.
And if they punch another hole in a different part of the skin, they've lost 50% of the value of that skin. So the skinning is very, very important.
It's very particular.
And it's hard to do.
And little alligators skin easier than big alligators. They're tenderer, so, but they also cut easier. So if you're haphazard with your knife on a smaller, thinner skin, it's easy to cut a hole in it. The bigger ones are a little less forgiving because they're so thick. But he's harder, and he's much more of him.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 11 foot the other night. Took me 2.5 hours by myself from beginning to end. So it's quite a lengthy process.
But let me ask you, like, both of you guys, was this like a family tradition? Were your dads in the gator business, or?
I had a friend of mine that was with Wildlife, and before the nuisance program came along, he had tags to go, and I went with him. As a matter of fact, it was back in the old VHS days with the big camera on your shoulder.
You're always videotape, right?
I had a big video. I had the whole big deal. I still got the original tape that I had, and went with him, and we caught 3 alligators that morning, nothing real big. And we tagged them, and I got it all on video, and it's perfect. I go back every once in a while and just look at it because it's kind of funny, but looking back, But anyway, he kind of got me started, and like I said, he was with the Wildlife, and he's the one that actually put me in place in the nuisance position, and from there, it's just there's been some people down south that have mentored me and the how-tos, and the pretty basic stuff that you should know that I kind of waltzed into, but I've had some really good teachers that I listen to. The guys have been doing it forever, and they were generational trappers.
Yeah.
I'm not, but they were. Their dads and their grandpas, they live in the marsh.
Yeah.
They do this every year. It rolls around September. They're filling hundreds of tags in 30 days.
I really think you're doing the right thing. This is why you were put on the earth. Is to be.
You can tell he likes
Yes,
his job,
I know,
right?
absolutely.
And like I say, meeting the people, it's great. It's just a great deal. It is.
Mark, wait, but where did you get the skills to the design, the cutting, all of that?
Self-taught. Self-taught. I remember the first skin I ever cut. I looked at it for 2 hours before I cut it one bit. And so it's a school of hard knocks. You learn what you can and can't do, and how you can get value out of the skin, and how you can mess up real quick if you cut it wrong. And every skin is different. Every skin's unique, and you just have to learn what you can get out of it. And of course, it depends on what my market is demanding at the time.
In fact,
also,
let's talk about your market. Do you have salespeople that go out to?
we have a sales manager, Clint Abear, and he is making some sales trips, making always lots of calls. We do have a website, and
Where are you selling alligator products that I wouldn't think you would be?
oh gosh,
Are you out on the West Coast, for instance?
no West Coast retailers. No, we sell skins to people out there.
Yeah.
See, we're very diversified in that we'll sell the skin, or we'll cut up the skin and sell a component, say to a belt maker out in California or Oregon. They would then make the belt themselves. But we do part of the work in that we cut the skin. Most belt strips are spliced together. They're not one piece.
Oh, okay.
We do all that work for them because that's really the hardest part of making an alligator belt. Or we might sell the whole product to them out there. So we do everything from once the alligator skin's in our hand, we try to squeeze every dollar we can out of it in whatever way we can.
And have you ever had any odd requests to make something out of
Yes.
a gator?
I don't know that we can talk about it on radio, though.
Now you really got me thinking. There's Ronnie Guy, Mark Staton. There are not many people in Acadiana who don't love gators, from observing them in the swamp to enjoying them in a sauce piquant, but there are very few of us who are as familiar with the lives of alligators as you two gentlemen. It's been a real education and a pleasure having lunch with you today. Thanks both for taking the time out of your schedules to join me today and out to lunch.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. I appreciate it.
My guests today on Out to Lunch have been Ronnie Guy, alligator hunter for the state of Louisiana and member of the Louisiana Alligator Advisory Council, and Mark Staton, the founder and owner of Mark Staton Company. You can find out more about the mortality of Ronnie Guy's and the immortality of Mark Staton's Acadiana alligators by following the links on our websites, krvs.org and it's acadiana.com. Today's show is recorded live over lunch at Cafe Vermilionville in Lafayette. Cafe V is open 6 days a week for lunch and dinner with a courtyard that sets a scene for fine Louisiana cuisine. The producer of our show is Grant Morris. Our technical producer is Eric Merle. And Christian is our researcher. Our theme song, Encore Monsieur Nice Guy, is written by Mitch Foreman and performed by Mitch Foreman and Andre Michaud. Our Acadiana business consultants are Pete Prados from Innovate Acadiana, Zach Barker from The Opportunity Machine, and Dr. Blake Escaday. If you want to find out what we all look like, you can find photos of this show on our website and Facebook page. The photos were taken today by Gwen Aucoin. You can get this show as a podcast, you can listen to past shows, and you can keep up with us on all kinds of social media by going to our websites, itsacadiana.com and krvs.org. Support for Out to Lunch Acadiana comes from Wyndham Garden Lafayette. It's located off Pinhook near Calise Saloon. Wyndham Garden Lafayette offers a complimentary airport shuttle within a 3-mile radius, reaching downtown shopping and local restaurants. Additional support comes from ABIZ Magazine and AcadianaBusiness.com, the essential information source for business decision makers throughout the One Acadiana region. Out to Lunch is a production of I&O Broadcasting for itsacadiana.com and KRVS 88.7 FM. I'm Peter Raschuti. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to meeting you again next week around the table here at Cafe Vermilionville for more business, Acadiana style, on Out to Lunch.
Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. Additional support comes from Wyndham Garden Lafayette.
Want convenient banking features like mobile check deposit? Whitney Bank's mobile app has you covered. Start by opening your checking account online at HancockWhitney.com. Then download the app to bank anytime, anywhere. Member FDIC.